In a world of so much negativity, where things are constantly pulling you down, the Word of God can build you up. Get inspired with Isabella Pina.
Hello, I'm Isabella, and welcome to another week of Get Inspired. This week we're going to continue to talk about grace. Our topic will be, are you frustrating the grace of God? Grace, as we all know it, is the unmerited favor of God. There is nothing that we can do to earn grace. It's God's free gift to us, and all we have to do is accept it, embrace it, and experience it. Some of us make things so difficult. Some people believe they have to do something in order to earn grace. But you don't have to do anything to earn grace. Grace is a free gift from God. Some of us even think that even if we don't earn all of it, we could earn some of it. No, there's absolutely nothing you have to do to get God's grace. God's grace is a free gift to you. Just accept it. A couple weeks ago, we talked about the three types of grace that God has made available to us. We talked about God's saving grace, His standing grace, and His serving grace. So with those things in mind, if you want to know what those are, you could go to my last video. But with those things in mind, we understand that God has made His grace available to us in so many ways. God has been and continues to be kind and generous to us. He has made His grace abundant in our life. The question we must ask is this: are we going to access or frustrate God's grace? God's intention for us is to access His abundance of grace and not frustrate it. It says in Galatians 2:21, I do not frustrate the grace of God. For if righteousness come by the law, then Christ is dead in vain. As I continue to say, it does not matter how hard you work, how many times you go to church, how long you've been saved, how many sermons you have preached, how many good works you have done, how many times you have read the Bible, whether you read it backwards, forward. It doesn't matter. It was God's grace, not your righteous works, that gave us right standing with Him. Don't frustrate that grace. Stop trying to do things trying to earn it. Just access it. Paul was teaching the Romans about this when he says in Romans 11:6, and if by grace, then it cannot be based on works. If it were, grace would no longer be grace. Grace does not come by your work, but it comes for work. There's a big difference. You cannot work for the grace of God, but you should work by the grace of God. Some of you find the Christian walk so difficult because you consciously or even subconsciously try to earn the grace of God. You are doing things within your own might and not by God's grace. Stop. You cannot earn God's grace. If you could, some of you would even try paying for it, but you can't. Try simply accessing God's grace instead and see how much easier your walk with Christ becomes. The writer of Hebrews says in Hebrews 14:16, let us then with confidence draw near to the throne of grace, that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in time of need. Grace is there for you whenever you need it. You could access it. Why do you frustrate yourself and even the grace when you're going through something when the grace is available to help you? By faith, we can obtain mercy. By faith, we can approach God's throne to access His grace and mercy. Let us learn to access God's grace that He has made so freely available to us and not frustrate His precious gift. You may be thinking, Isabella, how do you frustrate the grace of God? I'm glad you asked. You frustrate God's grace when you try to accomplish what He called you to do on your own. You cannot accomplish your purpose on your own. God's grace is there for you. It's there to help you to accomplish your purpose. Why try to do it on your own? That's why you get frustrated. And when you get frustrated, you frustrate the grace of God. When you get stressed out with God assignment. How do you get stressed out with God assignment? Once again, you're trying to do everything within yourself. God knew what your assignment was going to be. God knew what you was going to do before you even born on this earth. He placed his grace there for you so you could access it at any time to help you with that assignment. Why try to do it on your own? Access his grace. When you put pressure on yourself to do only what God can do through you, there is certain things that you just cannot do by yourself. You put undue pressure on yourself trying to do things that God only could do through you. Allow God to work through you. Access his grace. He's waiting for you to come to him. Access his grace. It's a free gift from him. Use it to do the things that he has called you to do. So this week, get inspired to understand that grace is a free gift from God. Get inspired to accept and access God's grace. Get inspired to live a fulfilled life by the grace of God. Until next time, stay inspired.